1 2, 1 2.
Cheers.
In 2020, surfing will infuse the Olympics with high-performance action and youthful energy to a level never seen before in the Summer Games. As the governing authority of surfing, recognized by the International Olympic Committee, the International Surfing Association has their sights set on Tokyo 2020, ready to showcase surfing to the world on the greatest stage in sport. Surfing has the power to make a positive impact in the lives of all, and the ISA will continue to use the sport to change the world, one surfer at a time, through Tokyo 2020 and beyond.
Welcome to the APP World Tour, stop number 1, the London Sup Open. Hi, I'm Bo Hodge along with Haley Edmonds, and we're going to bring you all the exciting action. We got Mathieu Astier on boat with live coverage from this exciting event. We're getting ready for the 11K distance race. First up will be the Women's Pro, along with the Women's Pro-Am and the Men's Pro-Am also in the course. We'll complete the women's professional race, and then the men will have their course. So we're just about maybe 5-6 minutes away from the start. And Haley, this is going to be a great day of racing.
Yeah, for second day of this London Sup Open, yesterday was extraordinary. It was sunny. Everyone was out after we watched the football. Then everyone was out onto the dock to watch, of course, the sprints, the pro and the sprint category, which was outstanding because, of course, it was a victory from Kai Lenny, back for his first competition of the year. And what a competition it was.
Yeah, Kai Lenny, Shea Fowdy winning the women's and the men's event in the sprints and taking the lead into day number 2. And we'll see if they can continue that momentum that they had from Saturday into race Sunday. So we are just waiting for moments away. We're going to be looking out for our race director and giving out. So let's go to Mathieu over on the boat and get a perspective on the water.
Hello guys, welcome to the London Sup Open day 2. Yeah, I'm here on the boat with Stu, my cameraman. And yeah, the ladies are getting ready. We're 5 minutes away from the start. We already had an incredible day 1 of competition yesterday with a city race, which was a pretty unbelievable sight to be on the Thames next to Big Ben and Westminster. That was crazy. And the sprints, oh my God, the sprints were as well unbelievable, with Shea Fowdy killing it. She doesn't come out often of California, but yesterday she was just showing to the world that she was on top form. And the 3 other ladies who are really looking great, they are Mantha Notar, Yuka Sato, and a young girl from Maui, Annie Riker. These are really the top girls on day 1. But Candice Appleby was looking good as well. Maybe Candice was playing it safe yesterday. She didn't push too hard in the city race, and I think she believed she wasn't going to win the sprint. So Candice could do a great show as well today.
Okay, Mathieu, we're going to put you online. Pre-game prediction: which woman will win in the distance race today?
I think it's going to be a match between Yuka and Shea. And given the course, which contains lots of buoy turns, I reckon Shea is going to have the upper end.
So
now, Candice, watch for Candice. I think she's got lots of energy saved from not pushing it too hard yesterday. So these are my top 3.
Okay, thank you very much, Mathieu. Right now we're watching highlights from yesterday's NESCO race, and this is the women's sprint final.
Right, yeah, so the NESCO great about the NISCO races, everyone was of course on the same board. That's the 12'6" inflatable board that kind of levels everyone out. There were 100 participants that signed up for that race, for the races yesterday, and of course you say we're watching the women's pro sprint final, and what a final it was, with Shea really keeping up the momentum from her second place in the city race, which went down yesterday morning at 9 o'clock in front of the Houses of Parliament, in front of the London Eye, and then of course the guys. Now Kai actually finished 5th in the city race, but man, didn't he dominate the male sprint race yesterday, winning every single heat right up to the final.
Not only winning every single heat, but he won every single start. And the start is, you see Daniel Holsulio right there in the red visor, just losing his balance. And there's Kai leading the pack behind Casper Steinfath in second place, and Connor Baxter takes third. It was an amazing men's sprint final. And this is a live shot right now. We're going to see 3 colors of jerseys in this race. The women, there's about 10 or 11 women in the professional final. They'll be in the white jerseys. You see them on the line right there. And we are just moments away. They're kind of inching up close. They're getting their final instructions from Anthony Vella. In the red jerseys, we're going to have some of the Pro-Am athletes, and also in the blue jerseys. So
maybe let's talk about the format, because we have a super lap format. It's 11 kilometers. So each lap is 3 kilometers. However, they do kind of have a super lap, a wild card, which is 2 kilometers long, which tactically they can choose for any one of those 4 laps.
Right, and they can't do it on the last lap. So they can either do it at lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, that super lap, but the 4th lap must be a full lap. So it'll be interesting. Who is going to go out on the first lap? Will all the ladies go out on the first lap?
Could be
will
possible,
they?
yeah.
Will they all go on the second lap? Some will play the wild card. Some athletes will wait for other athletes to make their move. You know, maybe let's say Shea Fowdy sees Candice, her teammate, going out. Maybe they've got a pairing working together. Maybe we'll see the Nash competitors and the Infinity competitors, you know, work together as a team. So we don't know in their theory, and there we
they're
go.
off.
And we have a horn on the start. Machu, what do you see out in the water with these ladies starting?
Well, I'm seeing a great start by Shea Fowdy and Annie Raikkonen. These are the two girls who are in front right now. Mantha Notar is looking good. Yuka Sato, those are the top four ladies I was mentioning earlier on. Close enough is Chloe Walker-Dean, the Australian girl, 21-year-old from Gold Coast. And Candice Appleby is next to her. Then I see Mary Buchanan on the starboard, blue starboard. And already in the back, Holly Pye from Great Britain and Andrea Richardson on the Nash board.
Well, we're already seeing the train starting to establish here in the beginning minute of the women's distance race.
So talking about Shea and Candice from the same team, and what a day it was for Infinity yesterday, who won both first place in women's and men's, with Kai Lenny, the newest addition to the team, on his board.
Well, we see a pack of four right here out in the lead, and this pack of four could work together in this race. And Machu, once they get out to that outside buoy, they're going to go under what? 1, 2 bridges?
Well, they're going to pass that big bridge in the middle of the Royal Victoria Docks, and they're aiming for that buoy far out, which is, I think, 1 kilometer away from the start. So it's a long straight line to start this race, and I can see one draft train with Yuka Sato in front, followed by Annie Raikkonen, and on the right-hand side is Shea Fowdy, but she's not being followed by Mantha. Mantha is right in the middle. Actually, she's colliding right now with Annie, and she's taking the third position clearly in front of Annie. Wow, that's playing a shoulder move there onto Annie, and being positioned now in third place.
Yeah, we're seeing on our screen right now. That's 3rd through 7th right now, and these girls are working hard as they head out to the outside, passing that beautiful yacht docked here at the Royal Victoria Docklands area.
And they're just ahead of the XL Centre, and we're back to the start with
This is the Pro-Am men.
Pro-Am men.
And they'll be doing 3 basic laps, so they'll be doing a 9K race for the Pro-Am men. The Pro-Am women will also have the option of the super laps, so a little bit of different races, variations, as you would say.
Absolutely.
But back to our lead pack, there's Yuka Sato on the starboard,
So
Shea
it was
Fowdy
these three-
on the Infinity board.
So it was yesterday Yuka who finished in the city race first and Shea second. So, you know, we were seeing a real battle between these two ladies. It could be setting out to be a good race thus far.
Well, we've had Yuka already win 2 SUP events so far in this calendar year, 2018. And then we see Mantha Notar now in that pack of that lead pack of 3. And these ladies are going to try to hang together, work together. Right now, they're kind of side by side. No one's really taking out a firm lead at this point, Haley.
So, in your opinion, what do you think if one does the super lap that they'll all follow? How do you think they'll work tactically?
You know, in their mind, they may have a plan. We are next to the London City Airport, so you may hear planes go by every now and then, as you're just hearing right now, as on screen. But sometimes athletes will react, you know, maybe in their mind, I'm going on lap 2, but all of a sudden, lap 1, maybe they're not having a great race, but lap number 2. There's Henry from Germany. He has an adaptive paddling stroke because he only has half an arm on his left arm, and an amazing paddler at that, a young 18-year-old just celebrating his birthday just 2 days ago.
Great.
And so the Pro-Am men are now out on the course. So the Pro men, when do they come out? After the conclusion of all these races right here. So we're going to be keeping tabs of all these paddlers in this great day number 2 of the London SUP Open. And all kinds of things have been going on through this festival.
Absolutely. We've had demonstrations, we've had kids clinics, we've had yoga. The day kicked off with yoga at 9 o'clock in the morning with Charlotte Holmes from Soul Sisters Fitness. We really kind of got into that kind of fitness swing momentum. And then they had yoga stand-up paddle as well. They do have 2 slots of that a day. There are loads of demonstrations for everyone to try boards. Of course, we have the NISCO Inland Championships here. They're represented. And they're all, of course, on their inflatable 2'6" boards. I mean, it's a real kind of family. It's a great family vibe here. We've got food trucks. There's so much activity, so many things going on at this outstanding location, which is the Thames. And of course, yesterday, which was kicked off yesterday, with of course the city race, with all the athletes going in front of the House of Parliament, the London Eye. I mean, these historical monuments that have kind of juxtaposed with the stand-up paddlers in front of them, these huge like Quicksilver buoys in front, which is great. It's just really kind of showing the future of stand-up paddling. And we're back to the women's race.
Well, let's go out to Machu right now. We're seeing Shea Foudy and Yuka Sato in that lead. And what do you see out there, Machu?
Well, I see 2 ladies who really, really want it, and they don't want to go into a draft train, and especially Shea. She's a little bit behind Yuka, maybe 50 centimeters behind, but she doesn't let go of the front. So she's creating a second line, and actually Mansa Notar behind is changing lines between Yuka and Shea according to who's going faster. But we're coming now to the first buoy, and there's a bit of aggressivity here between the ladies. All in good sportsmanship, and Shea Foudy has taken the lead. She's used that inside of that buoy to position herself now at the front of the race, and Yuka is trying to grab her draft, so she's now making a big push to come back on Shea. So very, very good move there by Shea Foudy from California, and we have a group of 3 girls, and that's Shea, Yuka, and Mansa Notar, USA, Japan, and Slovenia.
Well, Haley, you just brought up a good point while we were listening to Machu there. These buoy turns could be critical, and it was very critical for Yuka. She had the first turn, but on the inside maneuvers, Shea Foudy took advantage and took the lead away from Yuka.
It was the buoy battle, and Shea took the upper hand and took advantage of that. And here she is on screen, really powering away on the Thames for this London Sup Open. And what a prestigious tour it is going to be this year. The first of 4 tour stops. After we'll be heading to New York, then San Francisco, and then we finishing the year in beauty in Paris. The athletes will be paddling past the Eiffel Tower. Of course, in New York, it will be around the Statue of Liberty, and in San Francisco, they'll be there for the Red Bull Heavy Water. So such a great year lined up for this APP World Tour. Such prestigious tour stops. And we're really bringing it out there, showing the love and really making people realise that stand-up paddle is accessible, that everyone could be a part of it. And even in the centre, the heart of capital cities like London, like Paris, we can practice these kind of sports. Yeah,
starting September 15th in New York City, stop number 2, as you said, not only with the racing, but the SUP surfing over at Rockaway between the 18th and the 23rd of September. And the Red Bull Heavy Water Challenge in San Francisco, that'll be a one-day event, men and women this year. That's right, women are included. We had 20-foot surf last year, and it was Casper Steinfath winning the Red Bull Heavy Water last year. And we'll have those dates that one day, pending on the biggest, largest swell in the time frame of the holding period between October 15th and November 2nd. And then back into Paris for the final event, December 1st and 2nd. So there's a good wide shot of our top 3 in the lead, and we got a pack in the back 3, and it looks like Annie Reichardt's leading that second pack. Machu, what do you see in that second pack? Are they gaining ground on the first pack?
Well, yes, indeed. It's Annie leading the second pack of 3 ladies. That's Annie, Chloe, and Candice. The distance between Mansa and Annie has been the same for the past 500 meters. So I would hope some of these 3 ladies to actually try and make a move ASAP in order to catch up to that train. Those three girls should try and work together. And right now it's just Annie trying to push hard, not to be distanced too much from Mansa. I think that's key at this part of the race. Obviously, we've got the super lap, and maybe some of these ladies are going to use that now after the first lap in order to position themselves in first position. And obviously, it will be a new game on.
I'm seeing about a 2.5 board separation from Pack 1, Pack 2. Am I correct?
Yes, indeed. That's absolutely right. And Annie is. You can see Annie pushing hard, but she doesn't seem to be able to manage right now to close that gap. I think it's going to take some help from the two ladies behind her.
All right, great reporting out on the water. We're 9.5 minutes into this race. It took the ladies 6 minutes to go out on the first time, so you're figuring another 6 minutes coming back in. There's 12 minutes, and then are they going to do the super lap on lap number 1, which is kind of a shortcut, and eliminate a K out of the race? Well, we'll have to just wait and see. But beautiful shots of right now. This Shea Fowdy in first, Yuka Sato from Japan in second, and Manka
Nota from Slovenia.
In third place. And in that second pack, we have Annie Reichardt, we have Candice Appleby, and probably Chloe Walkerdine in that third pack. But go ahead.
Yeah, so you were talking about Candice earlier, and so she's got a broken toe. She's obviously taking it slightly easier. She's been ice packing that a lot. Do you think that she's kind of taking it slightly easier here, or do you think it's really kind of holding her back?
She is a veteran. She is the 2015 APP World Tour Series champion. She's won the Battle of the Paddle. She's won the Pacific Paddle Games. She's won pretty much everywhere around the world. And she's the elder stateswoman of SUP racing. But she could be conserving. She's not too far away from that lead pack. She's in that second pack. Sometimes you don't want to go out too fast on that first lap.
So she may be using her wisdom and applying that to this race.
You just never know what's going on in the brains. And that's a good shot of Pack 1, Pack 2. And then we're seeing almost a 3-board separation between these two packs as they come in. And you see Shea Fowdy just looking over her left shoulder, taking a look and seeing maybe where Candice and Chloe are on that second pack.
So this first pack is made up of the three ladies who made the podium in the city race yesterday. It was Yuka Sato who came first, Shea in second place, and Manka Nota third place. So we're really seeing these kind of these three women really pushing each other, really going hard. There's so much determination, and in the sprint, of course, it was Shea that took the first place and Manka Nota second.
Let's go out to Machu right now. It looks like all ladies are taking this turn, so no super lap yet. What do you see?
Well, I see all the ladies going for the third buoy, basically, and no one so far has decided to take the shortcut and the super lap. I totally agree with what you were saying, Bo, about Candice. Candice has got 12 years of experience. She's been racing from the very early days of SUP racing in 2007. So she's been around. She might be conserving her energy, as you were pointing out. So especially with the super lap, she's got experience with that. She could be just controlling the race right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors in this. It is 11K. It's going to take an endurance. It's not a sprint race like we saw yesterday where these paddlers were paddling just for about 90 seconds or 2 minutes or so. These ladies are going to be, just about 50 minutes to an hour. And take a look over your shoulder. You're on camera right now, Machu, and give us looks like the second pack is starting to make a move on that first pack.
Well, actually, the distance seems to be a little bit bigger, and that's since that second buoy. Shea's still in front, actually. She's managing to have a full board length now over Yuka, who's being followed by Mansa. Yeah, I'm really surprised that none of those ladies took that super lap. It could be a great opportunity to play a mental game from the very beginning of the race and be in first position. Obviously, that also means if they would have done that, to see the rest of the pack shortcutting when you feel like you're in front. So I think that's a great idea. That super lap, it definitely spices up the game.
But Machu, If the leader goes on that shortcut, you got to follow, right?
Sorry, Bo, can you repeat, please?
If the leader went on that first shortcut on the super lap, you got to follow the leader because you can't get the leader out of control and out of your eye's view.
Well, it's absolutely. It's really you have to go down with your strategy, and I hope all these athletes looked at all the options possible before the race, because you could say that, but at the same time, you could you could actually be burning a lot of energy too early and be caught up later on. So it's really a mental game, and no one's playing it so far.
So as we saw with Shea and Yuka earlier, it is a real kind of battle of the boys. It's such a great demonstration as to how important the boys' turn is. As we saw yesterday with Mo Freitas, if I'm not mistaken, in the semi-finals, who fell on his boy turn, and consequently he had to go into the kind of pre-finals to try and access once again the finals.
Well, it wasn't pretty much a bump and run, but another paddler hit Mo's paddle out of his hand. So that's why we saw him on his board paddling with his arms and legs to get to his paddle, because his paddle was knocked out accidentally. And you said it was all in good competition, but that's what happens when you go fast and all of a sudden you got to slow down to make a left or a right-hand turn. Bump and grind happens over there, and that's what happened. His paddle was knocked out. Unfortunately for Mo, he says he'll live another day. And today could be his day. And you're seeing almost a board and a half length now lead for Shea Foudy, 15 and a half minutes into this first lap race. So Machu, she is starting to take a little bit of distance from Yuka.
Yeah, she's not stopping, and you can see in Yuka's look the determination to catch up with her as soon as possible. But right now, Shea Foudy looks really, really super strong. She's got that very strong stroke, and she's in front and she's not letting it go. So we don't have two trains right now, but three. It's Shea on her own at the front of the race, and then a train of two girls, Yuka and Mansa, and then it's the three ladies led by Annie Reichardt with Chloe behind her and Candice Appleby in the back. So obviously they should try and do something very quickly if they want to catch up with the front, because it's 10K, but it's it's an hour race basically, given the pace these athletes are going at. Back to you.
Machu, I got a question for you. Mansa, we know her as a great sprinter. How is she in these distance races so far this year on the Summer Series?
Who, sorry?
Mansa.
Mansa, she hasn't competed a lot actually. She, I believe, the only thing she did this year, apart from studying, she's got her head buried in her books. She's had for the past 6 months. She did the Slovenian Championship, which she won easily. But apart from that, she hasn't been racing much. So it's actually very, very good to see her. Just like a few athletes. She's starting her SUP race season with the APP Tour, so she hasn't done a lot of racing, and that's the case of lots of guys and girls actually today.
Okay, we can see the buoy turn 17 and a half minutes. Lap 1 is now done. We are in lap number 2. Remember, 4 full laps, but with one exception of a super lap from taking a turn from the inside to this buoy. So there you go, the top 3, and then we're seeing a little bit of separation here, Haley. Shea Foudy off to the left, Yuka Sato and Maka Notar off to the right. Now we see that second pack of 3 that led by Annie Reichardt. There's Chloe Walkerdine and Candice Appleby.
So as you said, first 3 kilometre lap completed. There are 4 laps to be done by the competitors today, of which one super lap. The super lap, which is of course only 2 kilometres long. And the super lap, they can actually choose when they do that actual lap. However, it can't be The
last lap. That's right. That's the wild card. You can't take the shortcut on the last lap. So we've already completed lap 1. So we know it's either going to be lap 2 or 3 right now.
Absolutely. But it's still, it's so technical. We're in such a technical place right now. I mean, is Shea going to determine what the others are going to do as well as she's leading the pack thus far?
Well, I tell you what, we're seeing some of our other athletes on the inside making their turn right here. I believe this is Marie Bachmann from the United Kingdom. 18 minutes, 45 seconds and counting and finishing up her first lap. This is our regroup of our lead competition, and we can see some separation and some catch-up now from Yuka Sato. And Mashu, what do you see? Is Yuka making a move?
Well, a lot has happened in the past 300 meters, actually, because Shea did a fantastic buoy turn, and then she had a great acceleration just behind that, and she was almost 15 meters ahead. But Yuka managed to come back quite aggressively onto Shea and take the reins of this race. So she's now leading. She's looking actually very good. It looks like a whole different race all of a sudden. And Shea second, and Mansa Notar still in third position.
Well, we saw Yuka Sato back in March win the 12 Towers down in Queensland, and of course she won yesterday's Thames River race, so she's on a roll right here. Maybe London's her coming out here, competing with the world's best. She's placed in the top 10 last year at the APP World Tour. Yuka Sato finished number 8. Of course, our big top 3 aren't here from last year. Tareen Black getting ready for Molokai. Sunny Honshide also getting ready for Molokai at the end of the month. Fiona Wild, she is elected not to come. Candice Appleby, 4th ranked last year. 5th ranked, Annie Reichardt, they are all here. So Yuka could be making a statement here at the London Sup Open.
Absolutely, and you're talking about the momentum after the 12 Towers and the Australian Gold Coast this year. Then again yesterday in the City race. I mean, you know, she could dominate this. She really could dominate this festival. But I do see there's a real kind of battle between her and Shea, as we even saw yesterday in the, I was about to say the sprint then, but it's not at all, because she didn't finish in the top 3 in sprint.
She finished 5th in the sprint yesterday, so, you know, if she could somehow win this race, a 5th place, you know, that could really jock up the rankings.
Things up a bit,
yeah,
right.
So here we go, heading out to the outside buoy. They'll be going back out. Right now, there's our top 6. Sato in first, Foudy in second, Notar in third, and followed by that second pack. So there's our lead pack as they head back out. So they'll be going under this bridge, out to the next bridge, and roughly it took them about 6 minutes to get out from this starting area out to that first turn buoy out on the outside. So this is lap number 2 of a 4-lap, 11K race, the women's professional. Also, you'll see on the course red jerseys and blue jerseys. The red jerseys are the men's Pro-Am. The blue jerseys are the women's Pro-Am. A beautiful day here in London. There's a good shot of the 2 packs working together, and it's kind of like cycling, the Tour de France.
Absolutely, yeah.
You'll have a rabbit, you'll have a leader, and there going down is one of our amateur surfers in the men's section. The guy with the hair bun actually won the 9K race earlier this morning. Can't make out his number, but he's got some jello legs right there coming around that turn. He already did a 9K race. Now he's doing another 9K race here for the men.
Absolutely, and we're going back to the top pack of the women pro race that's going on right now on the Thames. For this London Sup Open. What a great weekend it has been here. The first of 4 tour stops of the APP World Tour. Just these prestigious tour stops. And here, of course, we're in the London's Docklands, historical place. There's the Excel Centre just behind. We have the London Eye just down the road. There is the Millennium Dome just over the road as well, and Canary Wharf. I mean, this is such an outstanding location for the world's best athletes to compete in.
And this is being all brought to you by Quicksilver and Roxy, along being sanctioned by the ISA, the International Surfing Association. And how is London in the SUP world? Are they in the whole country of England and the United Kingdom? Are they taking SUP and elevating? Are you seeing a growth in SUP here in the United Kingdom?
Well, I think that actually Nisco, for those who aren't aware, yesterday they had basically inland championships, and they even hold inter-club championships. I was talking with one of the guys, and there's real kind of a family that's growing, and it's just what's great about Nisco is it's so accessible. So people are buying these 12'6" boards that are inflatable. They only weigh 13 kilos, so you can transport them easily. And he said consequently, and price-wise, are a lot cheaper than some of the top-end boards. So by making it accessible, by showing people that we can take it anywhere, even in the heart of a busy capital, that you really can. We're really sharing the SUP love, and there are so many people this weekend. We've had demonstrations, we've had kids clinics. We're really trying to get everyone involved, even if for the yoga fans, just showing that it really does cover the whole sporting spectrum, and you don't necessarily have to be from Hawaii to appreciate it.
Well, Hawaii. Actually, there were stand-up paddlers centuries ago. The old Hawaiians would take an outrigger canoe paddle and a big koa wood board. Duka Hanamoku used to do it all the time. Bobby and Leroy Achoy in the 1940s and 50s were doing it out in Waikiki. And, of course, it took Laird Hamilton and Dave Kalama and the Maui crew, the Strap crew, to really elevate. They were looking for something to do during the off-seasons in the summertime from the big challenging the big waves on the North Shore of Maui and Oahu and Kauai, and they were looking for something to keep themselves in shape and fit, and they grabbed an outrigger paddle, but it was just too small, so they put an extension on it, and thus SUP has been born and growing. And right now with the ISA expanding, surfing nations, 200 nations around the world, inclusion into the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. Surfing is part of one of 5 new sports coming into the Olympics in 2024, 2028. Paris and Los Angeles, big ocean sporting nations, are hosting the following Olympics, and SUP is possibly included in the talk of being an Olympic sport. Could it be SUP surfing? Could it be SUP racing? It'll probably be SUP sprints and SUP course racing, what you're seeing right here.
Absolutely, it's so adaptable, as I say, as we're seeing here on the Thames, as we'll see on the Seine, as we'll see, in New York. It is, you can really do it anywhere in the heart of big cities, and this is what we're showing really to the Olympic Committee as well, that this is totally a totally compatible Olympic sport.
You're seeing just on the left-hand side 2 red jerseys. Those are the men's Pro-Am. You're seeing going back out in the blue jersey, that's one of the ladies Pro-Am. And you're seeing the pack of 3, now led by Yuka Sato. And we see Shea Foudy in second place and Manka Notar from Slovenia still in that pack of 3. Where's the second pack? Manchu, where is the second pack, and how far pack separation do we have from pack 1 to pack 2 in the ladies women's pro final?
Well, it's now a big gap between those two trains. Maybe 100, 150 meters between Mansa Notar, the third athlete of the first pack, and Chloe Walker-Dean, the Australian girl leading the second pack. Those buoy turns, I think, are hurtful for the second train. I think that's where they lose most distance. Especially because Yuka and Shea have been attacking very aggressively right after each buoy turn, which is obviously a very smart thing to do. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because I was expecting Annie and Candice to be a lot closer to the front of the pack, but it's obviously not over yet, and those super laps are going to be interesting to watch.
Matthew, I got a question for you. Smooth water, currents, what are our competitors looking at here on the river?
Say again, Bo, please.
The conditions, the water conditions. I know we don't have calm conditions. There's a little bit of chop on the water. Are they going into the wind? Are they riding downwind? What are the conditions with these athletes right now?
There was a lot more wind yesterday. There were gusts of wind yesterday. I actually paddled. I did a 10K paddle yesterday, and at some point it was really hard to especially in that phase facing the finish line. Basically, it was hard to progress sometimes, but not today. Today is super flat. I think the ladies are lucky enough to have a bit of cloud because the sun would be really making things very steamy today. So super flat race. A few bumps. I think we're doing okay with a boat in terms of creating boat waves. I think we're not bothering the athletes. So yeah, I would call it a flat race for sure.
Definitely. Now on screen, we're seeing the separation from Pack 1 to Pack 2, and this cloud cover making a huge difference. Yesterday, it was extremely hot for the sprints.
Absolutely. It was absolutely roasting here. Even for the city race at 9 o'clock in the morning. I know for a lot of people, it's not, strange to think that it's so hot, like around 29 degrees around 10 o'clock yesterday morning. But for the UK, for London, it's exceptional. So we're actually having this crazy heat wave right now, and all of the world's best sub-athletes are unfortunately having to ride through it. But as I say, they're all used to it. However, there has been a change in the ranking.
Well, we can see right there, Yuka Sato is actually from Japan. Shea Faldi's from the United States. Maka Notar is from Slovenia. Chloe Walkerdine, who is in 4th place, not from Tahiti there. She's from Australia. And Candace Appleby from the United States, formerly of Hawaii. So almost got one of those flags right.
We're getting a geography and a flag lesson here.
Annie Reichart.
Thanks, Bo.
You can see her on the dashboard. She's from Maui. So there's your MAP 101 educational information there. And we're correcting that, so then stand by. So there you go. There's our top 3. Will this be the super lap? I'm kind of feeling it will be, Haley.
I have, honestly. It's such a tactical race because, are they going to choose this lap as their 2-kilometer race? Don't forget, there are 4 laps, of which 3 3-kilometer laps and 1 2-kilometer laps. That's why it's only a 12. That's why it's 12 kilometers and not. It's 11 and not 12 kilometer laps.
Okay,
so,
we'll know right now. Here we go. Here's a turn. Will Yuka go outside? Will she go across? And right now, it looks like they're going. Machu, what do you see? It looks like they're going across. This will be the super lap.
Yeah, they're going to buoy number 3, so they're following the normal course at this stage. And just like you were saying, Bo, they decide to follow the leader right now, and I think this is the smartest thing to do at this stage. We're going to follow for sure the second pack because there's something happening now with that. I'm really impressed by Yuka, I have to say. She actually paused at some point to take off the sweat off her face, and that's where Shea Faldi made a move. And she tried anyway, and she saw that she couldn't do it just for the few seconds that Yuka was posing. She couldn't take over. So Yuka is looking strong. I think Shea is doing well not to burn too much energy trying to position herself at the front of the race if she's got the energy to do that.
So I stand corrected. They are not taking the super lap. They're heading back out, correct, Machu?
They are not indeed. Yeah. They're following the normal course.
Yeah, because
they're following the normal course. Yeah, sorry.
So will this second pack take the super lap? Okay, let's watch Chloe. There goes Candace. And here we go, Annie Reichart. And what are you seeing now? Are they taking the super lap or are they going back out?
They are not. They are going back out and they're following the course as well. So it sounds like it's all going to happen in the third lap. So everyone is going for the super lap. I don't know if that was the best thing to do, to be honest, because there are 4 laps and the athletes can only take the super lap in the first 3 laps. So I would have played it now, to be honest, but obviously I'm not racing.
Well, you want to follow the leader. You want to keep your enemies close, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I don't have much experience of those super lap races, and I think that the whole format should be introduced on a much wider scale because it definitely adds to the story. I know some races that I've been to races where you've got some eliminatory rounds at every lap. So you have to be in the first 10 or first 20 in order to carry on the race. So it's like a race at the front and a race at the back, which makes things a lot interesting. But yeah, that's basically what Chloe has decided to do, leading the back number 2, and Candice and Annie are following.
Okay, so they're making a left-hand turn around this Red Bull buoy. They'll be coming in, and once they make their next turn, that'll be conclusion of lap number 2. So you're seeing your lead pack. That's Yuka Sato in first, Shea Foudy in the middle in second place, and Manka Notar from Slovenia in third.
So it will be the third lap that it will be the 2-kilometer super lap. Now, it's not the first time that you've employed this method in the race, the 11-kilometer race. You also did this in Japan. Tell us what the athletes thought of it and what you thought of it.
Well, last year in Japan in May, we had a windstorm, and it was so gnarly. It was 30 miles an hour plus, and it was not a downwind run, it was a side wind. It just made the racers work even harder. We had Jackson Maynard, an Australian Ironman competitor down in the summer series that he competes there, and he says this race in Japan, this sup race, is way more harder than a surf ski, a pro and paddle board, a swim, and a run on the beach. He said it's more grueling than the Australian Ironman series. So taking it from an ultra athlete like Jackson Maynard, who recently won the Maui Jim Ocean Shootout for the 4th time in a row. There you're seeing our top 6, Sato, Foudy, Notar, Walker Dean, Appleby, and Reichert. Has not changed. This is still the lead pack you're working on. And you see some hydration. You see all 3 of our leaders, they have the camelbacks where they're rehydrating with water. You saw Manka stick that straw right into her mouth, getting some hydration. And that's really playing a big factor. All these ladies, all these men that we're going to see later on, resting all morning long, not even coming out in the sun because they're saving their energy for their competition.
I mean, it's been a really intense weekend for all athletes here, and we're seeing another head-on battle with Shea and Yuka. We saw that yesterday. Yuka won the city race in front of Shea. Then Shea went on to win the sprint. I mean, it's a real kind of battle of the strongest here.
Well, you're seeing the second pack right now that is being led by Chloe Walker Dean. You can see Candice Appleby in second place, and that's Annie Reichart. It looks like Annie's going to try to make a move. She's going to break from the pack here in that second pack. And Manchu, what do you see from Annie in this second pack?
Yeah, big surge by Annie Reichart, who's finally decided to make a move. That's great. She's doing that now. But will she be able to actually come at the front? Chloe is counter-attacking, and it doesn't seem like it's working from what I'm seeing. So we actually at half of the race right now. Annie is obviously pushing hard. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And she's taking now the front of that train. Will Chloe be able to stay in the draft?
Well, right now on screen we're seeing the lead pack, but this is make or break, because if Chloe and Candice can keep on the tail of the draft train, she's going to make now Annie Reichart the rabbit and make her worker even harder. But Annie's trying to break that pack, Haley.
Absolutely.
So we're seeing some hydration there from Yuka, our leader. Some hydration from Shea Foudy. They're grabbing their camelbacks and getting some hydration. So these 3 have been working together, and they're kind of staying that pace. Not all-out sprint, just nice, smooth, technical paddling stand-up.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if that move from Annie is going to cost her, because she had to pause and take some water from her camelback, and maybe take a breather as well. So she's still at the front, but obviously seems to be a difference level between those 2 packs. I think the moves should have been made way earlier in the first lap of the race in order to stick around a lot more. Actually. Let's talk about Mansa. I think Mansa is in good position right now. She hasn't consumed a lot of energy, or so I believe. because she hasn't led that front pack yet. So she's always been in third position and staying in the draft. And let's remember that she's a world's champion on the sprint. She was second yesterday, and we know that she can sprint and she can go really fast in short distances. So if it comes down to a sprint finish, she definitely has her chances.
Well, we're starting to see some separation from Annie Reichardt and Chloe Walkerdine right now on that buoy turn. And you can see Annie taking a look back at Chloe and Candice right now. So there's about a half board, maybe a full board lead. These racers racing on the 14-foot boards, right, Haley?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think it's really interesting what Mathieu was saying about Manzanota. Is she hanging back a bit? She's in third place. Is she kind of conserving comparatively to the other two in front of her a bit of energy if it does come down to a sprint finish? She is the ISA Sup Sprint Race world champion. Could she really take the upper hand in that? I mean, it's, as we were talking about how tactical, how much tactics are going to play in this, because there is going to have their super lap in just a few. Well, it will be the third lap, as Yuka decided, and the others follow the leader. So, I mean, are we going to see some surprises here? Will Manka pull through?
Well, she's determined to stay with the leaders, and that's job one. Job number two is, when do I break away from the leaders? And right now, she's just hanging tough. And like Mathieu said, she's never led the race. She's always been third in that pack of three. We've seen Yuka Sato take a dominance of this race, and we saw earlier Shea Foudy leading out in front early. And this is our lead pack. They have started lap number 3. This will be the shortcut lap coming here. And remember, they've got a full lap number 4 still out in front. So, we're looking at an hour, maybe even over an hour for these ladies to be paddling.
Yeah. So these ladies have been making podiums all weekend, starting off with the city race with Yuka finishing first, then Shea second and Manka third. And then the sprint yesterday, Shea first and Manka second, and with Annie Reichardt third. So as I say, it really will go down probably to the last lap, and why not a sprint finish?
Well, you brought up a great point. Shea Foudy won the sprints, Manka was second. And who are the 2-3 paddlers in this? Those same two ladies. So you're seeing your overall champion right now in this lead pack. One of those two ladies is going to make a statement here in the distance race.
Because they really are breaking away from the second pack. I mean, did you expect to see more from Candice, for example?
Well, Candice broke her toe playing beach volleyball about a month ago, so she's been out of commission just a little bit, but she's a tough warrior. She's going to come out here. She's going to compete. She's looking for another world title. She's a multi-world champion. She's won course racing and distance racing at the ISA World Titles down in Sayulita and in the back year in Fiji. So don't count her out. She'll be ready for New York. She'll be 100%. So she is battling that injury of that broken toe, and she has 2 of her toes taped up together. And it's weighing on her. So, Mathieu, what do you see right now as they head out for their final buoy turn on this? This will be the cheater lap. This will be lap number 3. They're on.
Well, I see 2 ladies in the back letting Yuka do all the work. That's what I'm saying. But in the second train, if you look behind, there's Annie who's widening the gap behind her board. She's got now maybe 20-30 meters of lead space ahead of Chloe, or is it Candice just behind her? Will she be able to come back on the front pack? That would be absolutely amazing if she does that. It would obviously make things very, very interesting for the rest of the race.
Great reporting right there. As you see, this is the second pack. This is being led by Annie Reichardt. She's on the yellow and red Nash board. You see the 2 infinity boards. That's Candice Appleby in 5th place, and Chloe Walkerdine from Australia in 6th place. And back to our lead pack, back on screen. Yuka Sato from Japan in first. Shea Foudy from California, the young 19-year-old. And we saw her come out in representing Team USA in Nicaragua at the ISA World Sup about 3 years ago. She's making a podium, and in fact, passing out twice due to the extreme heat in Nicaragua when she was competing. And she's coming off an injury year last year, and she's coming into true form this year, injury-free here in 2018. Buoy turn on the outside. So there you go. No change. 1, 2, 3 still remains the same. Yuka Sato in first. Shea Foudy in second. And Manka Nantar currently in third. And looking over your shoulder, Mathieu, these ladies still looking strong. I mean, they're keeping a very positive, fast pace.
Very strong, and actually I feel now a bit of wind, so they're upwind now. They're facing the wind, a little gust of wind, which is slowing them down, while the other girls, the second pack, are in downwind mode right now. So that could make things very interesting for the rest of the race. That new guest, the wind, could actually play its role in this race. Yuka, I was saying before the race that buoy turns were probably not her best specialty, but she seems to be doing fine. So not only she's a good long distance racer, but she controls her buoy turns pretty well. So who's gonna win in that front pack? That's really, really tough to say at this moment.
Mathieu, let me ask you this question. We're 44 minutes into this race. How is fatigue going to play a factor in our competitors today?
Well, it's going to play a factor on the brain, I would say, because you have to play with the super lap, and no one's used that. So how are they going to surge? Or when rather is going to be interesting to see. Obviously, they're tired. They've got less frequency in their stroke. So I think they're going for a wider, deeper move to stay at a good pace. But we're being so close to each other. I think it's going to come down to a sprint finish if no one is making a move in the next 500 meters.
Haley, let me ask you this question. As a former competitor, how is the mental factor going to play a race in these ladies here in the distance?
And mental, it all does come down to, mental obviously plays such an outstanding part in all this, but we've spoken about momentum and how important a rhythm, momentum is. In so many sports, in car racing, it's all about picking up a rhythm and really kind of going with it. We saw Michael Booth, who was recently crowned for the second time European champion, and he won yesterday morning. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he came third in the sprints. It's all about taking that momentum and using it and going with it. And as with these top three ladies, this was the podium yesterday after the city race, and two of them made the podium for the sprints. It is all about picking it up and starting off this APP World Tour with a great result.
Well, Michael Booth actually placed sixth in the sprint yesterday, so he's got to play catch-up in the distance race, and this will be one of his factors coming up later on today. Again, we're seeing our lead group right now still being led by our Japanese competitor, Yuka Sato. Shea Foudy, the 19-year-old from San Clemente, California, still looking strong in second place. And don't count out our Slovenian, the 19-year-old. She is, I believe she's 22, Manka Nantar. And there's that lead group on the right. We see Manchu in the boat in the center. And off to the left is that second pack being led by Annie Reichart from Maui with Candice Appleby in fifth place and Chloe Walker-Dean from Australia in sixth place. And there's that second pack, and you're trying to see that separation. Annie's trying to break away, but Candice is not letting her.
No, absolutely not. Now, there is actually a third pack that are kind of, trailing slightly behind. There are my compatriots, so they're a bunch of British ladies. There's Mary Buchanan, the British SUP Surf and Race champion. She's participating here today alongside Holly Pye, the sister of Ben Pye. And also Helen Blair and Andrea Richardson. There is an international dominance here today, I must admit, but I think that's why it's so important to have all of these world-class athletes here, just to show Britain, to show us, to show the British athletes and the up-and-coming, those people that are from London that wouldn't necessarily have exposure to stand-up, to show everyone that people do come here, that we do have world-class athletes. And I was even speaking to people yesterday saying how excited they were and what it meant to them to meet Casper, to meet Kai, to have them, they said it's like seeing Lewis Hamilton or Michael Jordan, it's having these stars for them just by the dockside. And of course, as you know very well, Bo and Mathieu, they are such humble, great guys.
And how's the experience
And
Holly and
women.
Marie and all of them getting by competing against the world's best? They're going to see how they
They
rate
match up to them.
How they match up to them. Exactly. Well, here's our lead group, and still no change. 1, 2, 3 still remains the same. Yuka Sato in first. Second place, Shea Foudy. Third place, Manka Notar. And you saw just previously, about a minute ago, from that second pack, you saw Annie and Candice trying to break away from Chloe.
If I'm not mistaken, Mathieu, you can probably actually correct me, but Annie Reichert, she's the youngest competitor here today in this women's final. So the Hawaiian, she started probably only about 5-6 years ago in stand-up, and she's still at school.
Yeah, she's still a 17-year-old. We saw her recently compete over in Kaanapali in her home island of Maui at the Maui Gem Ocean Shootout, which is a multi-discipline event. And she competed with the likes of Jordan Mercer, the 6-time Molokai to Oahu champion, the Australian Iron Woman international champion. So Annie's been upping her game, going to different disciplines and competing with everybody else. So right now we're no communication with Manchu. Right now we're correcting our communication with him. But out with our lead group right now, you can see Yuka Sato. You can see Shea Foudy. You can see Manka Notar from Slovenia. Here they come in, and this will be their lap, and they are going for the super lap right now. 49 minutes, 25 seconds in, and here we go. Start of lap and final lap number 4.
So for those of you who have just joined us, we are live from the London SUP Open for the 11-kilometre professional women's race. So just to reiterate what we said on the super lap. So there are 4 laps. Each lap is 3 kilometres long, and of which 1 super lap. That super lap is 2 kilometres long. Now, each athlete can choose whenever they want to do the 2-kilometre lap. They've all decided to do it on the second to last lap because they're not actually allowed to do it on the last lap. So it started out tactical, but they all followed the leader, Bo.
Yeah, and we're seeing Manchu. Are you back with us?
I am indeed, yes. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, well, we had some communication problems with our walkie-talkie, and our technicians fixed that. Let's talk about this second lap, how Annie and Candice have broken away from Chloe.
Yeah, it's just happened a few seconds ago. Actually, the race within that second train is a very important one. You need to be well positioned, even though you might think you're not going to win this race. Being in good position in the long distance is going to give you a point for the combo results of the whole event. Adding the sprint results from yesterday and the long distance results from yesterday. So the game is not over. Obviously, and Annie is showing some very strong skills at this stage of the race, and Candice is not letting her go.
Well, this is start of lap number 3, and we have another full lap, so we're just entering just over halfway into this distance final, and we're 51 minutes into this race, so this is going to be a lot longer than we projected, huh? Now we're seeing Candice Appleby, Annie Reichert on their super lap, going across. They'll be starting their final lap. So lap number 3 has been the super lap, and then lap number 4 coming up. And watch the buoy turn. And Annie Reichert still trying to get some position. You can see the nose of her board almost on the tail of Candice's board.
So these two have really pulled away, and now they're really heading to the top pack, which of course consists of Yuka Sato, Shea Gudry and Manka Notar, who were our podium finishers at the city race yesterday morning that started at 9 o'clock in 30-degree heat. It started at 9 o'clock and it started at Battersea and went down the Thames to Putney. Which was an absolutely outstanding historical race because they went past the House of Parliament, London Eye. So yeah, I mean, it's a real. I'm sure they didn't have time to do any sightseeing, but for us, it made some great shots and so kind of it's almost like juxtaposed to see them paddleboarding in front of such historical monuments.
Well, it is an honor to be here. Welcome to day number 2 of the London Sup Open, stop number 1 of the 2018 APP World Tour, the Association of Paddle Professionals, being brought to you by our great sponsors, Quicksilver and Roxy, and being sanctioned by the ISA, the International Surfing Association. That is our lead pack, still being led, dominated by Yuka Sato, and she's pulling the train of Shea Foudy and Manka Notar from Slovenia. You see in the blue jersey, that's one of our women's Pro-Am. They're doing a 9K race. Here we go, one of our British competitors, I believe that's Marie Bachmann now making her way through, and she's making her super lap turn right now, also on lap number 3.
So Marie Buchanan is the British surf and race champion. I think there are 4 British competitors here today, and I just want to highlight the importance of having the world's best athletes here, just to really kind of show the international level to the locals, to those the British sports people that do participate in SUP.
We've seen Marie Bachmann compete in Peru at the ISA World SUP and Paddleboard Championships in Nicaragua. She's come to Mexico at Sayulita, also to Fiji, and just last year in Denmark, in Copenhagen, for the distance and the sprints, and cold Hawaii for the course racing and the surfing. So Team UK building. I know Ollie part of that Team UK, and a great pride in surfing. I know the big surfing community here in the United Kingdom over in Newquay on the West Coast. Yeah. And of course the Board Masters surfing event
NAS, yep.
Held every summertime, and there's a lot of great surfing, windsurfing, kite surfing, stand-up surfing in this great country. Wakeboarding. We're in probably the wakeboarding capital right here.
Yeah, so you're talking about, I don't know if you anyone saw in the shop, but there is a cable, a wakeboarding cable here, which Kai actually used to do a bit of a foil about 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. And he'll be doing a demonstration again here tonight. So if you are in or around London, and if you're missing out on this action, do come by later this evening, because there will be some demonstrations.
Well, coming up at the end of the month, we're going to see Kai Lenny along with Ryan Funk in this competition do the Molokai Channel on a foil SUP. Wow. We have 15 competitors competing. Byrne's going to be doing it. The Spencer brothers also part of that. We've got 15 international competitors crossing 32 miles on a SUP foil from Molokai to Oahu coming up at the end of the month, and that's going to be exciting. Okay, let's get our attention here, and this is pack number 2. What you're seeing right now, that's Candace Appleby in 4th, Annie Reichert from Maui in 5th, and they've got separation. Machu, this is a good, 500 meters away from Chloe Walkerdine?
Oh, actually, I have no visual from here of the second pack. I'm on with the front boat and the first train, and what I'm seeing is Yuka still leading that pack of 3 girls with Shea in 2nd and Mantha in 3rd. And actually, Mantha, we were mentioning that earlier on, still, sitting, I would say, nicely comfortably in 3rd position. Obviously, you need to play it well on that buoy turn in order to not let the girls go too far away from you. So there she goes. Mantha is now positioning herself in Shea's draft. Yuka Sato, who won the 12 Towers earlier this year. She had a really great start of the season. Shortly after that, she was 2nd in Tahiti at the Air France Paddle Festival behind Sonny Onshide. So she's since then she hasn't stopped racing, and she was always on the podium or very close to the podium. So she's had a lot of racing time this year, and it shows. She's playing this really well so far. Shea hasn't had the chance to race so much this year, but she had some pretty good results. She was a top 10 at the Carolina Cup in mid-April, and lately she was 2nd overall at the Santa Monica Pier. And obviously yesterday she won the sprints in amazing fashion, and killing it and defeating the world champion on the discipline.
Well, we're 57 minutes, 20 seconds into this race. We're concluding lap number 3, and then we're going to be starting our 4th and final lap. So fatigue could be playing in a factor for Chloe Walkerdine. We saw her fall off that second pack. Now we're seeing on screen our competitors in the Pro-Am. In the red jersey, that is the men's Pro-Am. In the blue jersey, that is the women's Pro-Am. So you're seeing a mixture of the local athletes competing here with the world's best. And there's our pack of three, and still no separation. These three could stay together all the way to the finish line, Haley.
Absolutely. Well, there was the three podium makers of the city race yesterday, so there's absolutely no reason as to why they don't. I actually have a question for you, Mathieu. Mathieu, you lived in the UK for 5 years. How have you seen the British SUP scene evolve?
Haley, could you please repeat that, please? Yeah, rephrase, please.
You lived in the UK, in Britain, for 5 years. How have you seen the British SUP scene evolve since then?
Well, when I was living in the UK, that was 10 years ago, and I had no idea what a stand-up paddleboard looked like then. But since, because I'm, you know, England is like a second home to me, and I've been following the UK scene indeed. Unfortunately, it hasn't produced yet world-class athletes, some very good athletes like Ryan James, Ben Pye is a young up-and-coming athlete. There are some very good watermen as well down in Cornwall. But more importantly, the UK race scene is super active. Probably one of the most active SUP racing scene in the world. You've got so many canals and so many. You've got water everywhere. But it's a big island, isn't it? So. And so you have lots of clubs all over the UK. I'm really impressed what is being done all around the UK and also in Ireland. You've got Joanne Hamilton Vale. She's pretty famous now on the endurance SUP racing scene. A very good ambassador for the sport. She now lives in Australia. But she's basically competed and organized some great long distance competitions. So that's what's also happening in the UK. There's the Trent 100, which is a big. It's actually not even a competition. It's just a huge race with I think 150 competitors over covering a very large distance on a river. So yeah, it's definitely happening in the UK. We're just hoping to see more athletes on competing at an international level. The British athletes, they actually do travel a lot. There's one race that they like very much. It's a Dordogne, which is a 130-kilometer race in France on a river. The English seems to go there a lot. They also take part in the SUP 11 City Tour, which is a very mythical tour in Holland on the Dutch canals, 220 kilometers over 5 days. So yeah, I'm actually very happy that we're here in the UK because that's where it's also happening and no one knows that. I mean, hardly anyone knows that. So it's very good to put the spotlight on this great country.
Well, a great dissertation there about SUP in the UK, and we are 1 hour, 1 minute, 10 seconds into this race, and still very impressed with this pack of three being towed by Yuka Sato.
Absolutely, extremely impressed, but there aren't really many surprises there because, as I said, these women have been making podiums for the last two events here at the London SUP Open, so they're really kind of bringing that momentum over to this 11-kilometre race. Now, for those who are just joining us, each lap is 3 kilometres long. There are 4 laps, of which there is what we call a super lap. The super lap is 2 kilometres long. It's up to the competitors to choose which lap. It can't be the last one. They choose to be their super lap. They all followed Yuka, who was leading, who decided to utilise that wild card in her second to last lap. So what we're watching now is the final lap here of this 11K final.
Actually, we're watching the final lap coming in here, making their turn. And here we go, Yuka Sato. You can see Shea Foudy. Shea Foudy tried one time to break away from Yuka, and Yuka wouldn't let her. And there's Maka Notar from Slovenia in third, so 1, 2, 3. They have set this pace from the first lap. And we are 1 hour, 2 minutes, 28 seconds, and we have some finishers on our finish line. You may hear some clapping going on in the background for some of our men Pro-Am that are finishing up their 9K race. And Look at the technique. Look at the style. Look at the
Hairstyle.
look at the hairstyle. I think the man bun finally came off, huh?
Yeah. Wasn't aerodynamic as he'd hoped.
But so the men, when are the men going to come up? The men professional. We have 30 men competing. They'll be coming up after the conclusion of our race here. And what an exciting race we have here. London has been a great host of the London Sup Open. And we're going to see more stand-up events in the future.
Well, I do, definitely. I think this is the first stop of the APP World Tour, and it really just goes to show how prestigious the tour is and how great it is, especially for us, for the UK residents, to have such a prestigious event in London, showing people and making stand-up paddling so accessible to people that won't necessarily have access to it normally. I mean, we've seen hundreds of people participate. 100 people participated in the NISCO Inland Championships here yesterday, and hundreds more people are trying the demonstration boards. We've had SUP yoga, we've had yoga lessons, we've really had everything. We're just showing every kind of aspect of this sport and how versatile it is.
Well, you're seeing the second pack right there being pulled by Candice Appleby, the 2015 APP World Series distance champion. Annie Reichardt, the 19-year-old from Maui, right behind her. Our Australian, Chloe Walker-Dean, in sixth place, has fallen off this pack. So there's that second group. They are finishing up their super lap. And again, still no change in our top three. Yuka Sato, Shea Foudy, and Manka Notar. Manchu, report about this lead pack. I mean, they are working in a groove. They are in sync with each other, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going pretty steadily, and that's been the case for most of the race, to be honest. And Yuka took the lead very early, and she's not letting it go. Has she been burning energy at the front of the pack, or on the very contrary, been controlling the race in order to be able to place her attack whenever she wants? Here she goes, very, very close to that Red Bull buoy. Inside, no mistake from these three ladies. And can you guys confirm this is the last stretch?
Yeah, this is the last stretch. So who's going to make a breakaway from this pack?
Well, it's all happening now in front of your eyes. Yuka is putting the hammer down. And Mansa seems to be detaching herself from Shea, but she's trying to come back very quickly. Now, are they going to attack that early? That might be a mistake, because there are still 300, 400 meters to go, and that's a long sprint if you start now. So Yuka is stopping now, or actually controlling the pace right now. She's not sprinting. So who's going to make that big surge, and when in the last 400 meters of this race?
Okay, we're
still the same trio for now.
We're seeing Candice Appleby and Annie Reichardt make the inside turn on their final lap, and they're going to go out to that Red Bull buoy.
No, stay on the side. Let's go. All right, guys, so I'm with Yuka Sato, Shea Foudy, and Mansa Notar, and we are 250 meters away from the finish line. No one is making a move yet. The pace is good, but it's not a sprint. So it's going to happen now if one of these ladies has got enough energy to really pass on to the 6th gear or 7th gear, because they've been going pretty fast for more than an hour now.
So it's all going to come down to this last 200-meter stretch. Yuka Sato is up ahead. Will Shea Foudy or Manka Notar be able to pull up front and take that lead from her in the final stretch? Could it be a sprint finish? All will be revealed as they are battling it out for the first place of this London Sup Open 11-kilometer race.
Yeah, we're seeing the ladies making their way through. We got eye shot of them coming in through here. They'll be going past the white APP buoy, heading into the finish line area.
And Mansa is making a move.
So Manti has now separated herself. You can see her off on the right of the screen. You can see Shea Foudy also in the middle. She's starting to make a move. So it is coming down to this last stretch. So the train has been separated. The three ladies are now trying to make their move, but Yuka Sato still has a lead, and it looks like Shea Foudy has now just passed her.
Yes, indeed. Mansa triggered that sprint, and Shea followed very closely behind, and she's currently leading. We are 50 meters away from the finish line, but Yuka is not quitting.
Yuka is not letting go. She is not giving up. She is really battling on. She wants to take over Shea. She's been holding the lead for so much of this final. Shea's just pulled right up front. Shea, who won the sprints here yesterday, it's going to come down to a sprint finish, but is Shea going to be able to hold on
20
to
meters
the
to
head
go.
position?
Shea is going to be your winner today.
Here you go, the finish of the London Sup Open. It'll be Shea Foudy taking the sprints and the distance. Unofficial time, 1 hour, 8 minutes, 27 seconds. Yuka Sato, second place. Third place, Matka Notar from Slovenia.
What an enthralling race, with Yuka holding that lead for such a huge percentage of it. And then the last 200-meter stretch, Shea really pulling forward and making it a sprint finish, taking over from the Japanese athlete Yuka and taking the win here at the 2018 London Sup Open for the 11-kilometer race.
Well, we're going to get Manchu over from the boat over to Annie Reichardt. Excuse me, to Shea Foudy. And Shea, she is lying down right now. Okay,
And
we're going to...
Here she is, the winner of the long distance, Shea Foudy from California, who made not just one statement, but a double statement, winning yesterday the sprints and to the long distance in great fashion. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Tired. That was a gnarly race. It's hot out there, but I'm so stoked because this is my first real great performance of this year, and I've trained hard and it's paying off, and I'm stoked about that.
We were wondering throughout the race if you had burned too much energy leading at the beginning of the race, and if you knew if you had enough energy to be able to place that final attack. Did you know you were going to act then?
Yeah, well, I definitely burnt myself a little out going so hard in the first lap, and so that's why, I hopped on the draft pack in the second lap coming back around because I wanted to conserve my energy for the end. I wish that our draft train switched off more because, I don't know, but it was good. I feel pretty good. I'm glad that I was able to get in a draft and not have to paddle that race solo.
Well, you're making it big on the international scene. Congratulations, Shea. What's next for you?
Next will be, I believe, a local event in San Clemente, as well as going to Hood River, Oregon for the Gorge Paddle Challenge.
Well, congratulations, Shea. And back to the booth.
All right, thanks. Congratulations, Shea, throwing a shaka. And she's your overall winner. First place in the sprints, first place in the distance, unofficial time, 1:08.28. So your top three coming across the line, Shea Foudy from California in first. It was Yuka Sato from Japan in second. Matka Notar from Slovenia in third place. And here's a recap of our start. And it was won by the top three breaking away from the field here.
Absolutely. And as she said herself, she had to kind of control the fact. She said she was burning too much energy in the initial lap, and she kind of had to slow it down a bit. And that's what she did. She conserved that energy. She stayed behind Yuka up until the last 200 meters. She won the sprint here yesterday, and she made it a sprint finish. And what a spectacular finish. Shea definitely threw some shade on her opponents this weekend.
Well, you saw her with a little bit of a lead, but for a majority, I would say about 95% of the time, Yuka Sato. And here's the breakaway. Here's the point where Shea Foudy broke away and went first and just beat Yuka Sato. And we saw how close this pack of three was, and we anticipated this three could finish for a photo finish. And now you're seeing there's Annie Reichardt breaking away from Candice Appleby. So Annie Reichardt looking for a fourth place finish coming in from Maui. The young 17-year-old, the youngest competitor here in our women's professional final, and she's had a great weekend also.
Absolutely. I mean, let's not forget that Candice actually does have a broken toe. She broke her toe playing volleyball. So I know she's been spending a lot of this weekend icing it after the competitions. But she's still, no matter what, despite the injury, she's soldiered on, and she finishes, if I'm not mistaken, fifth here today. So it was an outstanding performance for someone who is who's carrying an injury.
Well, beautiful Nash board colors coming underneath the Red Bull finish line. There's Annie Reichart and Candice Appleby, and here's Chloe Walker-Dean from Australia. She'll be coming in 6th place, and it was a pack of 2, and these ladies worked in a threesome until Candice and Annie broke away in that second pack.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
I'm with Annie, guys.
Yeah, let's
I'm
have a
going to
word with
ask
Annie.
her
Let's go over to Mathieu, who's with Annie.
Annie, congratulations on a great weekend, 4th today. How did you feel in this race? You were in leading the second train for a while and managed to actually keep that 4th position. Was it too difficult to stick with the first train in the first lap?
Yeah, I mean, I started off feeling great, and I think the heat got to me eventually, and you just start feeling kind of bearing down on you. And I thought for a while I was going to be able to connect to that first group again, but after a while I was just kind of like, I'm going to keep it strong and go as hard as I can. Whatever happens.
How does it feel to be actually at the front of the second train? Are you burning more energy than the ladies behind you? And is it mentally difficult seeing the first train going away so far?
Definitely. I mean, I think there were moments where I was like, oh, I can catch them, I got this. And there was others where I was like, okay, I really think that this is where I'm going to stay. And then, you know, when you're in a draft train, you're following the person in front of you, and that's that. But when you are the lead, it's kind of like it's up to you to decide the pace and push yourself as hard as you need to go.
Great. You had a great season so far. You were 2nd at Padalimua, you were 3rd at Olukai, and today you're 4th. What was your position yesterday?
Yesterday I got 3rd in the sprints.
3rd in the sprints. So we are going to see more of you internationally?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I have some fun trips planned this year, and I can't wait to meet up with you guys again soon.
All right. Well, thank you, Annie. Congratulations on that beautiful 4th position and on that great London weekend for you. And back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Mathieu. We just saw coming across the line, that was Marie Buchanan.
Yes, to a round of applause from her compatriots that are supporting her. She's, of course, the British Surf and Race champion. And, of course, we're having a word from Annie Reichart. What a bright future she has beyond her. Look at that. What sportsmanship.
That is what we're all about here. The stand-up community world is sharing everything together. You can see 2 competitors right there. That's Yuka and Marie just hugging and talking about their experience out there. And even though we had some cloud cover, it wasn't as hot as yesterday. You can hear the competitors talk about the heat, and it was a factor.
Well, you know, us British do like to complain about the heat as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just something unexpected, I think. Yesterday, at 9 o'clock in the morning, they were paddling in 30 degree temperatures, which, as I say, even in UK, we're just not used to these kind of conditions. So, of course, on our screen here, we see a certain young Kai Lenny.
Yeah, Kai Lenny, can he perform as Shea Foudy going back-to-back sprints and distance? He'll be the man to be chased right here in this final. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up the women's race and get ready for the men's distance race. You're watching the 2018 London Sup Open, part of the APP World Tour. Stop number 1 being brought to you by Quicksilver, Roxy, and the ISA.
In 2020, surfing will infuse the Olympics with high-performance action and youthful energy to a level never seen before in the Summer Games. As the governing authority of surfing, recognized by the International Olympic Committee, the International Surfing Association has their sights set on Tokyo 2020, ready to showcase surfing to the world on the greatest stage in sport. Surfing has the power to make a positive impact in the lives of all, and the ISA will continue to use the sport to change the world one surfer at a time through Tokyo 2020 and beyond.
Took the first of it. 20-minute delay wasn't the worst of it. So hot underground, you could burn to death. Now you're right on time to take what I got left. Funky music.
In 2020, surfing will infuse the Olympics with high-performance action and youthful energy to a level never seen before in the Summer Games. As the governing authority of surfing, recognized by the International Olympic Committee, the International Surfing Association has their sights set on Tokyo 2020, ready to showcase surfing to the world on the greatest stage in sport. Surfing has the power to make a positive impact in the lives of all, and the ISA will continue to use the sport to change the world one surfer at a time through Tokyo 2020 and beyond.
Took the first of it. 20-minute delay wasn't the worst of it. So hot underground, you could burn to death. Now you're right on time to take what I got left. Funky music playing in my
Welcome back to the 2018 London Sup Open number 1 of the APP World Tour. And here we go. Results of the women's long distance race. Won by Shea Foudy from California, the 19-year-old, unofficial time 1:08:33, 3 seconds ahead of Yuka Sato, who led a majority of the race, our Slovenian coming in third. Maka Notar, and still the same time of 1:08. And you saw the background. Those are the trams going over towards the O2. There's 26 restaurants in the O2, and we've got Justin Timberlake playing in the O2 coming up tomorrow night. And we've got the start of the men's race, and they are underway.
Which is our focus. We are, of course, it's the 11K race. The pros are on the water, and what a great start from them. We saw the women just a few minutes ago, and what an intense race it was at the very, very end. It went down to the last 200 metres and a sprint finish, and it was, of course, Shea Goody who pulled out the goods, who led the pack, who pulled away from Yuka Sato, getting her second victory of the weekend after the sprint race yesterday. So our focus now is, of course, on the pro men, and what a lineup we have here today.
Oh, it's a superstar. We've got 8 of the top 10 from last year of the overall rankings here in London for the London Sup Open. Let's go down boat side and see who's out in the lead right now. Mashu, what do you see?
Well, Casper Stenfath seems to be in the lead now next to Claudio Nica here on the rapid board. Nash against rapid, trying to get our